Yay! So I want to give, accolades to Angela, because, it's hard, yes, to stand up in front of a group of people and share a story, tap into emotions. So do we have any car people in the room today, out of curiosity? People who do you like classic cars? Anybody? Okay, so I want to see the hands. Ready? Okay, keep them up, because can you guys tell me what that is? Let's get specific.
63.
Close.
64.
Well, we could keep going. 65, 66, right? Anybody know? 67. What model? L88, yes. Good for you. Any idea how much it cost in 1967? Close. $4,600. Okay. Do you guys wish you would have bought that car back then? Any idea what it's worth today? And I got a question for you. Ready? How does a car that when it was created had a value of $4,600 end up in 2014 at $3.8 million? How does it do that?
Because it was one of the few left.
Yeah, so they only made 20 because it was the first Corvette that had over a 500 horsepower engine, and it was so unique and it was so powerful that it required over 100 octane for gas. Now let me ask you this. You go to the gas station, what's the highest octane you guys can buy right now today? 93. So imagine you need 100. So where are you going to go get gas for it? The airport. South America? That's a good one. The racetrack, something like that, right? So this one is one of the only. There's two that are still in their original condition. They've been maintained and kept. There's two. This one was sold, $3.8 million. Okay? This one was bought back in 1967, but it ended up not getting taken care of. It ended up not getting the appropriate amount of fuel and running and everything else. Basically, it was abandoned, which is interesting, isn't it? Because you'd say, oh my God, right? So same car, but different condition. Original, well-maintained and well-kept, increases in value. So my question for you is, the driver determines if it ends up like this or this. Would you agree? The owner. Now, I need a volunteer just to come to the front. I'll probably pick somebody off the front row. Now, we do need to talk about your birth year. So if you don't want people to know your birth year, don't come up. But would somebody in the front row stand up and tell me just a birth year? So come on up. What's your first name?
Rita.
Rita. So coming up, Rita. So let's give a round of applause to Rita, yes? Rita is a beautiful soul who, and it sounds like a game show, isn't it? We've never met before, right? Or magic show, right? So Rita's a beautiful soul that was born in what year?
1928.
1928. Woo! Now, I have a question for you, okay? Like this car, how many of Rita's were created in 1928? Oh. Really? How many of her? There we go. Only one. So she's original. She's classic. So are all of you. And obviously, being born in 1928, this beautiful soul has taken quite good care of herself. Would you agree?
Yes, I have.
Maybe a little tuning
I
up
was
needs
an
to be
opera
done.
singer. I worked with my breathing.
There you go.
All those things.
Now, do you guys see where I'm going with this? Yeah. So she was created, just like the car was created, in 1928, and there was only one that was made. So not that I would do this, but if we were going to say going once, going twice, sold, she is worth, does anybody know, what's the value of the human body today? The FBI has done this. I'm going to give you an idea how they did this. They put out all of our organs individually onto the black market and said, how much would you buy brain, heart, lungs, liver, spleen, pancreas, skin, intestines? How much are we worth on the black market if we sell all of us? Anybody know? $9 million. $9 million. So you could sell your lung, your liver, your left kidney, your right kidney, your eyes, left eye, right eye, your teeth. You're worth $9 million. So she was born in the 20s, an original, and now my question is for you, some of us need to go back to driver's ed. And that's what I'm going to do for you guys today. Thank you so much for coming out.
You're welcome.
Do you get it? So the choices that you make will discover if you stay in your original shape if you stay on your original health function, I mean, I guarantee you, even though it's several years old, right? If you sit behind it and you push down on the gas, that thing is going to go. But this one obviously isn't going to go anywhere. And some of you are saying stuff like, man, you know, I'm tired, I'm fatigued, I can't seem to go anywhere, I'm losing my hair, my tires are falling out, I have one here instead of where it should be, my glass is broken, I can't see. Do you guys get the analogy? So some of you are here today going, well, I just need to be remodeled. I need to be upfit. Now, if I did go to the junkyard and buy this, I might only have to spend a couple $100s for the car, correct? But how much will it take me to get it back to that? Probably $100,000. But is it worth it? Is it worth it? Now, is it worth investing in yourself so that you last for your lifespan? You have to answer that question. I cannot. I learned it the hard way, guys. I was raised on Fruity Pebbles, Cocoa Puffs, you know, drinking the pink amoxicillin whenever you had a head cold, right? Raise your hand, anybody? Like we had it on tap. Like literally, I could just go to the refrigerator and my mom's like, oh, you scraped your knee? Just glug, glug, and you're good. Today we've learned, oh shoot, that creates all kinds of health issues, antibiotic resistance, Staph aureus, all this kind of stuff. But I grew up in a culture of it's okay. And I didn't learn anything about my diet until I got into college as I started learning nutrition. I was going to become a medical doctor, so I did pre-med all the way throughout. I did 2 years of cancer research at the National Cancer Institutes of Health because the MD PhD program that I was approved for said, in order to start, you got to do 2 years and get published. You have to have at least 10 publications. So I found the greatest cancer researcher on the planet, and I said to her, I would like to work for you. And she's like, in the National Institutes of Health, no one has ever done that. And I said, I want to work for you. And she's like, okay, but we'll figure it out. And what's odd is I did 2 years of cancer research, and part of why I do what I do now today is how many people do you think I saw die on a weekly basis doing cancer research? It was horrific. My job was, if she got chemo, to come every 4 hours, collect her blood, and because these were experimental chemo drugs at the time, we were drawing blood to find out what was it doing to her body. Was it destroying the cancer? What was happening to the drug? Was it getting metabolized? I was that lab nerd who would sit there with 8,000 rows of blood and suck all the plasma out, run them through the machines, analyze the metabolites, and I would come to my lead researcher and say, here's what the drug did in this person's body. And she would say, oh, we need to, and whatever. And we got all kinds of things published, and it's not something I'm really proud of, but it's something that's part of my history, because what I've learned is you come from pain to purpose. What I got frustrated with is I was going to become a medical doctor, but yet all of my patients were dying. And I thought, well, we're going into this to try to help people. And I'll never forget the day I asked my lead researcher, I said, hey, listen, I just finished my 2 years. I've got my 10 publications. Hershey's ready to let me sit in. Just a question before I go, would you do this again? If you were me, would you go? And guess what she said? Hell no. She goes, it's a life of misery. You go in saying, I want to make a change in people's lives, and you leave going, I can't do anything with them. I just have to give them medications. I can't actually change them. And she's like, why do you think I do research and not work in private practice? Because I can't help people. And it was like this cannon hit me. I just wasted all this time. And I got married at the time to a beautiful lady who you guys will see in just a moment. And she introduced me to chiropractic care. And I got my first adjustment ever when I was in my early 20s. Changed my world. Changed it. I used to have asthma, allergies, chronic infections. I would take inhaled corticosteroids. Anybody have breathing problems, like a CPAP machine, nebulizers? Anybody here like that? Yeah, right? And I just thought that's the way it was. And, every doctor told me, everyone in your family has breathing issues, so you've got it. You're not going to be able to get rid of it. And I went to this chiropractor, and he explained to me the nerve system connections and how the lungs are connected to the brain. And I kid you not, about 4 months of work, and I had never sucked down an inhaled corticosteroid since. Changed my life. Then my wife got sick, and I started thinking, it's powerful, so I'm going to start adjusting her. I'm going to start working with her. And what happened is she didn't get better. And here I am, a young chiropractor who said, my life was changed by chiropractic. My wife is very sick, just like I was. She should get better, and she didn't. And it was months and months, getting worse and worse and worse. I opened my clinic in Charlotte in 2008. She helped me with that process. She's also a doctor, by the way. She's a chiropractor. And it was frustrating. What we found out was, long story short, she had a form of chronic Lyme's disease, which is undiagnosed by most medical doctors, that slipped to the points where it was growing in her brain physically, and it was eating her brain tissue. So the bacteria was eating her brain, and the doctors had said, well, we don't really know how to treat this because it wasn't like she just got bit by a tick yesterday. This has been in her blood for probably 25 years. There's really nothing we can do. Long story short, we leave the US, we go to other countries, we find this doctor who's a specialist in Spain, and he goes, here's what you need to do. And I started learning what he does. It's called functional medicine. It's now becoming a little more popular. And boom, my wife comes back. And I love the fact that I get to be here with you guys today instead of being at home with her and my kids. Because everybody always asks, right? I love what I do. And at the same token, I realized that if I don't do what I do, then I couldn't maybe take one of you guys out of that medical merry-go-round and help you break free from being sucked down the path towards misery. You guys get that? I mean, I've been there, man. It's hellacious. And some of you are shaking your head because you've either gone through that or you know someone that's been through that. And today's our victory day. Does that make sense? So I said to you we're going to go to driver's ed, yes? And today's about food, so I'm going to ask you guys a question. Which one is healthy? Donut or apple? I mean, come on, right? Which one is healthy, salad or cake? If I had to pick in my refrigerator, would I want it to be loaded with these things or these things? Yeah, but for some reason we still eat this though, don't we? And for some reason we still eat that. We know. So here's the challenge I have with you guys. Deep down in your core, you know what you're supposed to eat. I guarantee you do. But for some strange reason, you don't do it. And it has to do with this human condition. It's the human condition. It's called the 3% rule. It's the idea that even though you know what you're supposed to do, 97% of the time you're going to say, but it feels good. Or everyone else is. Or it was free. Right? They're at your church. They're lying out on a table. It was free. Because it's free, it's good for me. And because it's available, I'm going to eat it. Yet, they don't put out free apples. You know why? Because nobody eats them. So all I want to do is crawl inside your heads today and teach you something. You guys okay with that? But at the same token, recognize this. I know this for a fact. Not all of you are going to do what I tell you to do today, which is crazy in my opinion, because I've been doing this for 11 years. I've seen people from stage 4 cancer go back to perfect health, MS get reversed in a short period of time, diabetes go away in 4 to 6 days. 4 to 6 days. Yet I'm going to tell you how to do it, and some of you are going to go, my doctor didn't say that. My doctor didn't say that. They never told me that eating that's bad. You're going to say, the internet doesn't say that. All of my friends do this. Why should I do that? Why do I have to be the weird one? Right? Again, why do I have to put the right gas in this thing? Why do I have to take care of that? Because it's your body. My challenge is for you is you should only take care of one thing at the top 100% percentage, and that's you. If you let yourself slip, all of everything else gets affected. Do you guys agree with that? So some of you are here today like this, and I'm going to help you with that. And some of you are here today like this because we've already helped you to remodel, and you're going to stay like that. Does that sound fair? Yes. Fantastic. So now that we understand what's good and what's bad, I do realize you guys are still going to crash. Right? I'm going to teach you only eat this, only do this. And you're going to write it all down. You guys have got a ton of notes, and I know you're going to leave here and you're going to go, ooh, is that McDonald's? I'm going to get kaboom! You're going to crash, right? Just because you have a driver's license doesn't mean you're a really good driver. Does that make sense? Just because you know the information doesn't mean it instantly makes you wildly successful. It is action over time that brings results. Would you guys agree with me on that? I go to the gym today and I do a really great workout. That doesn't mean I instantly look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Actions over time. So can you guys commit with me for 90 days? That's all I ask. 90 days to do what I teach you today. Who can do that? So there's our 3%ers. Some of you are like, I don't know, what am I committing to? It's okay. If you're going to do it, you should say, yeah, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. And I promise you a couple things today. Number one, again, you're going to hear something and you're going to go, I've never heard that before. That seems crazy. Just push through that, okay? It's okay. Number 2, I guarantee you, if you listen to what I ask you to do and you do it, you're going to heal. I guarantee it. Because there's something unique about the human body. It always heals. Sometimes it takes a little longer than others, and for some of you, it's not healing, and we're going to explain to you why that's not working and how to engage and turn that healing process on. Because how many of you would like to lose 20 pounds in a month or 2? Angela talked about. Anybody? Anybody taking a medication? You don't need to yell it out, but anybody taking the orange bottle, white topped thing? Every morning I'm popping those things down. Who's taking something that you're like, I would love to get off of that thing, right? So I'm going to show you how to do that. Because none of your doctors are going to show that to you. And the reason why, for me, is because I went through a transformation myself. I saw my wife come from death to life. And it's become an obligation. I know God puts us here on this earth for a reason. I'm extremely skilled at what I do, and yet the funny thing is I don't exactly know how I do it. It's as if it's a gift. You know how you watch these musicians, a pianist, and man, they just, yeah, and you're just like, that is fantastic. And you come up to them and you say, can you teach that to me? And half the time they're like, no, because I don't even know how I do it. And each of you have that thing inside of you that I hope to engage. But what I'd like to know is, what did you guys come here for? I'm here to teach, to show you a way, a path towards greatness and light, because I went through the darkness, and I feel it's my obligation. I know it is. But what did you guys come here for? What's your reasons for coming today? Give me a why. Why did you come here today? Okay, so anybody else want to feel better? I think everybody in the room does, right? But let me ask you a question. Why do you want to feel better? That's a what. You came so that you could feel better. But why? Why do you want to feel better? So not feeling good is restricting you from doing things that you want. So it sounds like you want to be able to increase quality, correct? And increase quantity, hopefully. So I'd like to have a better life and be around longer. But still, why? Why do you want to have the ability to do things and to be around longer? For what reason? There we go. Can I see if there's, she said to be able to then have quality of life and quantity to help or teach my family. Okay, so do you guys see where I'm going with this? And some of you have been here before and you know that I do this, but the idea is you can't just say I want to feel better because it's not anchored to anything. It's going to slip. But if you say, I want to feel better so that I can be around longer, have greater quality of life for myself so that I can teach my family, that's a big why. Would you agree? Because now, when you come to this and you have to say, do I eat that or do I eat this? In your brain, you filter through and you say, well, wait a second. My reason for living is to feel better so that I can have lots of stuff to do and I can be around a long time so I can be there for my family. So now, ready? Which one do I eat? Done. You get it? But if you don't have it, you can't do it. Because if it's just about feeling better, which one's going to make me feel better? Real quick, which one makes me feel better? Woo! It makes me feel better. So watch out, and thank you for sharing. But watch out. You've got to go deep into your why. And I'm going to let you in on a secret. Until what you're doing right now is for the future, and for others, you guys are going to slip and fall apart. Does that make sense? So somebody else, share with me why you came here today. Anybody? Say it again. Encouragement. Why? Why do you want encouragement?
For help in achieving a better quality of life.
Okay, so we're here now. We're at the quality, but why do you want better quality of life?
Because with your health, you have almost everything. If you have good health,
You do.
good health,
Yes.
you have everything.
Anybody? Would everybody agree with that? But why do you want everything?
Because that's a human desire.
It is. So that's what you want. But how can I make that less about you and more about others? What would be beneficial for you to have everything for other people? There we go. So now you need the encouragement to be able to have the quality of life and the quantity of life to have everything so that you can now help others. So now which one of these are you going to eat to be able to pull that off? Do you guys see how it works? So you guys should have a sheet in your packet that has a stool on the front of it. And at the top it says your why. First step before you walk out this door today is there better be something written on there to that degree. My why is to no longer be on medication so that I can have a long, high quality and quantity of life so that I can impact, and you've got to write down a person's name. My spouse, my kids, my family, my aunt, my uncle, the children I take care of. It has to go to a person, and it has to be something other than you. Does that make sense to you guys? And let me give an example of it. If my reason for coming here today was to lose weight, and all I want to do is lose weight for myself, I might lose the weight, but guess what's going to happen? It's going to come right back again because it wasn't anchored to anything. There's no reason for it. My why in life is because this young lady took me out of the medical world and introduced me to chiropractic care, rocked my world. I used to take so many inhaled steroids that I got sick every quarter with fungal infections in my mouth. I couldn't breathe at night, so I had to have a machine with these tubes that would run oxygen inside of me. I was on high blood pressure medications. My hands were shaking like crazy. I was a mess. But medically, they're like, yeah, welcome to being in your mid-20s. This is the downward slide that everybody starts to go through. The good news is we have pills that will make you feel better. I was taking antidepressants, and I was a wreck. And she said, you need to try chiropractic care. And I think, selfishly, she probably said, listen, if I'm going to marry you, you got to clean yourself up a little bit. And I thank God every day for her. Now, we get married, and we started to have the idea of having that iconic family, right? We want to have kids. We want to build a life. We want to have success, just like all of you want, right? So I went to school. She got accepted in the same school I did afterwards. She became a chiropractor just like me. We landed here in 2008, and we said, let's take this thing off. And in that process, she got really, really, really sick. We also found out that either she or I, or a combination of two of us, couldn't have kids. We didn't have our first daughter until we were almost 10 years married. And the problem with this was we were trying. We lost some, and it was a wreck. It was a mess. It was emotionally just hit us. And then all of a sudden, after she got healthy, we had this angel. We call her an angel because she's blonde hair, blue-eyed, and neither of us do, and neither of us do. She came from heaven above as a reminder for me that when you clean yourself out, you do get what God promised to you. But she wasn't given to us earlier because I think, truthfully, she would have died in the environment that my wife was that toxic. And then now we have this little guy. And he just turned 8 months. His name is Gavin. He's got blue eyes, and we're still trying to figure it out. My dad says all men come into the world bald, and we all leave bald, so it's no big deal. Us guys, right? This is my new why, guys. This is why I don't drink Coca-Cola anymore and never will. This is why I don't go to Bojangles, Taco Bell, KFC, Arby's. You know they're building a new Arby's up the street from where I live off Statesville Road? Out in the middle of nowhere. And what's crazy is it's going to be packed the day it opens. It's literally like, I don't know where, it's like ants. Where the hell did all these people come from? We're attracted to poison. So today, you get to make a decision. And again, my question for you is, can you commit to 90 days of making the transformations that I'm going to teach you today? And some of you are shaking your heads yes, and you're saying yes, and I'm going to have the success. It's going to be 90 days, but I promise you, the research says only 3% of you will actually hit the 90 days doing it 100%. Some of you are going to get derailed. Some of you are going to fall off path. Some of you are going to have an issue. But what does the song say? Get back up, dust yourself off, and start all over again, which we should have you sing it, which means 90 days starts from the day you fall off track. I'm asking for a 90-day commitment. Now, I hope that starts tomorrow, today potentially, and you just roll right through the 90 days. But if you get to day 88 and you fall off track, what has to happen? Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and start all 90 days over again. Did you know that they've actually studied this? It takes 90 days for a habit to become locked and burned in your brain. It takes 90 days for you to go, you know what? I know that I'm not supposed to eat breakfast. I'm going to stop that 100%. For 90 days, I'm not going to eat breakfast. And how many of you right now are going, wait, breakfast? Stop breakfast? Right? I told you what I'm going to teach you is different. Different. So we're going to talk about this thing called the Hippocratic quote. Who's heard this? Let food be your medicine and let medicine be your food. Now, when you go to an MD and you say stuff like, listen, man, my chest is tight, I'm having palpitations, my veins are sticking out of my neck, what food can I eat to help with this? Do they do that? It's ridiculous, isn't it? I'm going to teach you the 3 causes. How many? Of all disease. I don't care what you have. You could have MS, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, neurodegenerative decline. You could have acid reflux. You could have arthritis. You could have a bladder that doesn't work, a bowel that doesn't work. You could have a foot that's not healing. You could have macular degeneration. You could have whatever you pick. And I guarantee you these 3 things are causing it. And I need to show you how to test for those 3 causes. Does that make sense? Raise your hand if you've gone to your doctor and you've had tests done and they say, they look good. But yet you still go, yeah, but how come? Why do I feel bad, but my tests are normal? It's because they don't check the 3 things that you need to find out where your health is at. And I'm going to share those 3 with you. Thus, I'm going to show you what I've learned over the last, gosh, now it's almost been 20 years, and what to do to reverse current health issues, right? Get them off your plate, and how to prevent yourself from ever getting something. And when I say reverse, I mean, yes, I work with cancer patients that come in and say, I only have 2 weeks to live, and all of a sudden at 6 months they're still alive. Reverse. And then, if you're like, well, thank God I don't have cancer, how many of you would like to never get it ever in your life? And that doesn't just mean cancer, heart disease, diabetes, Parkinson's, MS, etc. I will show you the same thing that you can use to clean yourself out is the same thing you should do to keep yourself from getting sick. It's the same thing. Make sense? Am I with you guys? I can see the excitement, but at the same token, I see the nervousness. You're like, oh, God, where's the exit? Maybe it's because you already read through the paperwork. Tell me if you agree with this. A goal without a plan is just a wish. It's a wish, right? So I can say I want to lose 20 pounds. I would love to lose 20 pounds. But if you don't sit down with a sheet of paper and say, here's what I'm going to do on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday, on Thursday, on Friday. I'm going to eat this, and I'm going to go work out, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to detox, then you're just dreaming. So make sure you take notes today. I see pen and papers up front. I see people with their notepads. I love that. Stay engaged, and let's have some fun. So go to the front sheet, and it looks like a stool, yes? Hey, can you guys grab one for me? A little packet. And what I want you to do is to write this down. Leaky gut, chemical stress, neurological imbalance. What are they? Leaky gut, chemical stress, neurological imbalance. And then, instead of writing health, if you're here today with something you'd like to have go away, high blood pressure, right there, high blood pressure. If you have a thyroid problem, write thyroid. If you have arthritis, write arthritis. If you have no energy, write no energy. If you have something that you want to go away, write it down. If you're here today and you're like, no, man, I'm doing great. I have my health and I want to keep it, then write the word health. So whatever it is that you want to have go away, put it up at the top. And whatever it is that you'd like to keep, if you have it, put it up at the top. Does that make sense? These are the 3 causes of all disease. Therefore, the things that create our foundation. Because I'm going to ask you guys something real quick. Is it easy to sit on a stool that only has 1 leg? What about 2? What about 3? Instantaneous, instant stability. Tripods are designed off this fact. If I had 2 legs on that camera, there's no way someone would have to hold it. But the second you put the 3rd in, instantly strong. Now, what I'm going to spill the beans on is this. Some people realize that cleansing their colon out is a good idea, right? Raise your hand if you've colon cleansed before. And we do colon cleanses because we say, well, they're supposed to make us healthy. But if all you ever did was a colon cleanse and you never addressed anything else in your life, would that make you healthy? No. It's important to do. So let me give you another analogy. Some people say, all I have to do is work out and eat right. If that's all I do, I'll be healthy my whole life. And we have people that go to the gym like crazy. You heard Angela, 6 miles. Okay? You've seen people going to the treadmills, right? For 45 minutes, they're trying to sweat the fat off. They go to the gym 5 or 6 days a week. We have guys that get addicted to the shape of building muscle on their body. And how many of them still have heart attacks at 45 going, how could that be? Remember not Jim Fix, what was the guy's name? The celebrity fitness guy who just had a heart attack not that long ago. Bob Harper. You guys remember that? It was in the news. He's like the Biggest Losers trainer. He's like a celebrity fitness guru, and he has a heart attack. And everybody on social media goes, how could that happen to you? You're healthier than me. I must be screwed. If the gym guy, had a heart attack, there's nothing I can do for it then. And the problem is when you put 1 leg power onto your health, it always fails. You guys know vegans, you often interview them and you say, are you healthy? What do they say? Oh, yes, I am. I'm a vegan. I don't eat any animal products. I don't drink any dairy. I only eat what comes from the ground. I'm super healthy. Yet what do vegans still get? Cancer, heart disease, diabetes, MS. How can that happen? It's because your health does not have anything to do with the amount of working out you do or the food you eat. It's only one portion. Which section of these three legs do you think food fixes? If I change my diet, will that help to get rid of a leaky gut? Yes? Will diet help me to decrease chemical stress? No, you got to be careful though. So if today I become completely organic, but for the last 50 years I ate non-organic foods, does switching to become organic get rid of the chemical stress? No. So watch out. Don't put all of your eggs into 2 baskets. I'm going to eat well, I'm going to exercise, 3 baskets, and I'll follow my doctor's advice, and I'm going to be healthy. It's a complete lie. Complete lie. So I'm going to teach you how do you do these 3 things from a holistic perspective, because guys, this is the secret. When I work with cancer patients, I say we're going to fix your nerves, we're going to fix your chemicals by getting them out, we're going to clean out your gut, boom. You guys understand this? These are the 3. And you guys should be like literally sitting in awe right now. This slide right here is worth $9.6 million because it's going to correct your body and get it back to its original shape. Is it just the awe, or is it the, I still don't believe this? There's like an ominous silence in here. Do you guys feel it? Out of curiosity, can somebody tell me? What are you thinking right now? Throw it out. What's going on in your brains?
You talk fast.
I talk too fast? That's okay. It's on the slide, so go ahead. What's going on in your brains? You're going to fail. Can't do it, right? What else?
Keep going, let's hear.
Let's keep going. Oh, I like that. I would like to go down that path just for a second, right? So how many of you might be like, oh my God, this is way too hard. Like, there's no way I can do this. I can't do this. It's just not possible, right? Part of that's because we've been hammered our whole life into the idea that we can't do anything without the help of who? For our health. Who? Yeah. Yeah, right? That you guys are weak and frail and you're not educated enough. And that is the lie that medicine teaches us because they don't want you to take charge of your health. But I promise you today you can do this. And if you need help, I'm here to help you with it. Does that make sense? So, therefore, there's only 3 things you need to do to fix yourself. So if the first slide's worth $9 million, this is also worth $9 million because all you have to do is find out if you have a leaky gut, which I'll teach you how to do that today. Fix the leaky gut, which I'll show you a little bit how to do today. Then you need to fix the cells of your body and get the toxins out. Would you guys agree with me? If you fix your cells, you can get well because you're made of 70 trillion cells. So all I have to do is get all 70 trillion cells to correct themselves, and you would be regenerative. And you know what's amazing? Your body knows exactly how to do that when it is uninterrupted. Watch this. How does this inanimate object know how to fall to the floor when I drop it? How does it know to do that? Yep. So how does your body know to repair itself? You were designed for repair. You were given an innate repair system. But if I ask this thing to drop to the floor, it'll do it unless I interfere with its path. It still wants to drop to the floor, but there's an interference preventing it. Your body still wants to heal, but there are interferences that prevent it. Do you guys get this? The 3 interferences are a leaky gut, damaged cells, and neurological interference. If you have no neurological interference, your cells are clean and clear and detoxing, and your gut is clean as a whistle, you would heal yourself from anything and everything going on inside of your body. Does that make sense? Should be like a jump for joy over this. Should be like, this is amazing. Now it is for me, but you guys haven't seen it yet. And so I'll show that to you. So a leaky gut is something that some of you have heard of because I talk about it quite a lot. But it's something that if you've never heard about it, you really need to learn about this. So out of curiosity, maybe those of you who have red folders, because if you have a red folder, it means I've never had the honor and privilege of really sitting down and talking with you one-on-one yet. So literally, who has never heard of a leaky gut before? Okay, just one, that's it. 2, 3, 4, okay? Here's the challenge. Inside of your body there are cells, and cells will stack next to each other for the purpose of creating an organ. So if we have a cell, we have a cell. If we have a group of cells, we have an organ or a tissue. If we have a bunch of tissues, we have an organ. If we have a lot of organs, we have a system. Does that make sense? So it goes cells, tissue, organs, systems. Give me an example of a system inside of your body. Digestive system, which is what we're talking about right now. So a digestive system is made of your mouth, your esophagus, your stomach, your large intestine, your small intestine, and the rectum as it goes to the toilet. Now, did you guys know a little fun fact? That tube goes from the outside in your mouth all the way through you and out to the toilet, and it's not actually technically inside of you because the air up here is the same as the air down there. It just smells different. Does that make sense? It is a tube. So when you swallow something, technically, it's not inside of you yet. But I know you're going to say, no, I swallowed it. It's definitely in here. What does it have to pass through to get into you? The cells of the digestive system. So if we're looking at our stomach, then there's millions of cells inside of the stomach, small intestine, large intestine, colon, rectum. What a leaky gut is when because of your diet and inflammation and damage, the cells are not touching each other, so stuff can leak through. So it can get from in the area of you swallowing it directly into your blood, non-processed by the cell. What should happen is food you consume is supposed to go through the cell and be processed and then enter the blood. Why do you think God created that? It's to filter and it's to take it apart, right? So if I swallow a piece of carrot whole, that piece of whole carrot, there's no way it's going to get inside of a cell. But there's vitamin C, vitamin A, beta carotene, there's all that stuff. So the cell's job is to break it apart into its individual components, put that into the blood, and then the blood goes up to the liver, and the liver says, I'm going to send you out to where you need to go. Now, what would happen if whole pieces of food go through the digestive system and whole food is in your blood? Good idea or bad idea? Why? What would happen? It has to somehow be filtered. So the body says, red alert, red alert. A whole piece of strawberry is inside the blood, so build an antibody, build an immune response against that strawberry to try to destroy it. And then the next time you eat strawberries, what happens? It builds an allergy. Now, if you eat meat, meat has nerve tissue, it has muscle tissue, it has blood cells, it has stuff in it that you would never want to eat per se directly, but when that stuff gets through, joints and everything else, if there's cartilage, then your body says, build an immune response against cartilage, antibodies, and then guess what it starts to do? Hey, that knee looks a lot like that meat you just ate. We don't like the meat in the blood. Go get that knee. Go kill the knee. And you start to get arthritis and joint pains and aches. Do you guys see this? It is the secret that the pharmaceutical company doesn't want you to realize. You eat yourself into your disease. So we first have to find out, do you have this going on? And secondly, we have to seal the plug, because then what starts to happen is you start to calm down. Who's gone gluten-free yet, out of curiosity? Working on it. Like I'm talking gone. 100%, hadn't eaten it in X number of days in this audience. Anybody? What happened the second you stopped eating wheat and went to the non-wheat? What was your tangible difference that you felt? No more reflux. Okay, so that's the digestive system healing. Has anybody done it yet and they're like, oh my God, my joints don't ache anymore. Like I don't have that back pain in the morning when I wake up. You know why? Because you're fixing this. And you're just starting to. So a leaky gut starts, you can't absorb the nutrients because they don't pass through the cells. You become nutrient deficient. You build an immune response. You start becoming sensitive to foods. Well, I can't eat that. When I eat that, I bloat up. It's not supposed to happen. When I eat that, I break out in a rash. I get a severe headache. It's not supposed to happen. What are those warning signs of a leaky gut? Here's the classic. You sit down for lunch or dinner, you start eating, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, your nose starts running. You're like, leaky gut. Okay? So, can you test for it? I have a test in my office. You stand on a scale, it measures your body, and it tells me all kinds of fun things. How much you weigh, how much fat's on you, what's your status of your weight, where's your BMI, your body fat, your water, everything else. Guys, if we're at 48.2% water, is that a good thing or a bad thing? That's really bad, isn't it? No, 48% water in my body should be 60 to 70%. I should have a ton of water in my body. Now, can I find out if you have a leaky gut? If you have more than 50% of your weight, of your total weight in your abdomen, you have a leaky gut. Guaranteed clinical sign of leaky gut. Why? What is fat doing? Why is fat showing up in the abdomen? The fat is trying to plug the holes. So if you have a lot of holes, you will have a lot of, and where will the fat be? Right here. Right here. Now, can you go to the gym and force that off by running on the treadmill? No, because the body says, I need that fat there to plug those holes. You guys see this? So first, you need to find out, is this going on? In this person, she sat through my seminar. She goes, oh my gosh, everything you tell me is amazing. I have A, B, C, D, E, F, G going on with my health. Can you help me? And I said, I would need to do some testing. She goes, I want to do this. I want to get testing done. I ran this test, a leaky gut test, 83.2 pounds of fat on her body. Guess what she said when I told her that? Oh gosh, I had no idea. 83 pounds of pure fat. She's like, I thought I was just a little overweight. Just a little bit. We look at BMI and body fat percentages. Did you know if you're above the red zones, this is 2 to 3 times more likely to have cancer and heart disease? 2 to 3 times. And yet no doctor's ever run this test for her. And I said, you have a leaky gut. And she goes, what do I do to fix this? Welcome to our program, our coaching, and I'm going to take you through this. I met her in June of 2016, 243 pounds, and in just a couple months, 165 pounds. Healthy, happy, vibrant in life. This is my office manager's mom. So guys, like, I take this stuff personally. Remember when I said, like, I want you guys all to be healthy and well? And the people you know as well. Like, in my opinion, there should be 1,000 more people at this event. And you know what's odd? We had over several hundred register, and yet only you showed up. And this is the divine appointment. You guys are meant to be here today, so don't take this lightly. Don't take this lightly. What does the Bible say we should eat? I hear it. So am I coming too intense to you guys? Am I losing you all? Should we start over? Fruits and vegetables. Is this boring? Is something going on here? Okay. Technically not necessarily things from the ground. You're supposed to eat the seed-yielding plants. Is grass a seed-yielding plant? Yes, okay. Should you eat things from the trees that have seeds? Yes. Should we eat meat? No. Should we eat pork? Bacon? Uh-oh. Now I'm really rubbing you guys. The Bible says in Genesis, before the fall, that we were supposed to eat the seed-bearing plants and the seed-bearing fruits. So we were originally vegetarians. Then the earth flooded, and for a temporary period of time, we were instructed to eat meat because there were no trees and there were no plants because the whole earth had been wiped out. And how long did we live during this time frame? What was the average lifespan before the flood? 990-something years old, right? Soon as the flood happened and we started eating meat, how long did we start living? 120 on average. We lost almost 1,000 years worth of life. And there's other people that say it's because the canopy protected us and we have radiation exposure and everything else. But I like to believe it's also because we didn't go back to the way we were designed. Remember the car? What was it designed for? What octane? Now, what would happen if you put 87 in that car? So what were you designed to eat? So what happens when you don't? You get sick. Okay? This is the 1930 USDA Food Guide recommendations. 1930. They said in the government that you should eat colors, yellows and greens and oranges, I don't know, blues for some reason, potatoes are blue, I guess, milk and fish and everything else. And at the time, obesity was almost non-existent. So they're saying eat a variety of foods, but keep them in an even amount. So if you eat 6 servings of bread, you should eat 6 servings of butter as well. And we laugh because we're like, that's insane. That's why we have heart disease. And no, it's not. You're going to learn this today. 1950, they came around and said, you know what? It was too complicated. We're going to make 4 primary groups. You should drink milk every day. You should eat meat every day. You should have your fruits and vegetables every day. You should have bread every day. And what started to happen as soon as we did this in the 50s? We started getting sick and gained weight. In the early 80s, late 80s, early 90s, they changed it and said, okay, what we want you to do is eat mostly grains. Lots and lots and lots of bread. Rice, corn, oats, whole grains. And we want you to do your fruits and vegetables. Do the milk still. Cut the meats down because we think it causes heart disease. And stay as far away from oils and sweets as possible. And what happened? Did we get healthier? We actually got fatter. And we got sicker. So then they said, let's make it easier. Instead of showing you eat all grains, because this says eat a ton of them, your foundation, let's change it and say eat an even amount again, but keep that oil really low. Note, even amount, but keep the oils low. But it's still milk and bread and fruits and grains. And what happened? We got even worse. Now today, they say this. They say, I want your plate to be full of grain. It's the same stuff. Do you guys see it? They're just changing the way it looks. Grains and dairy, protein, vegetables, fruits. And you should have what? Make half of your plate fruits and vegetables. Make the other half of your plate split between your grains and your proteins. If you do this, you'll live a long, healthy quality of life. And is it happening? No. Guys, it's getting worse. It's getting way worse. So I'm here to tell you, this is how you should eat. This is how you should eat. You've got to start engaging what's known as your superfoods. I'd like to see from a show of hands, who's had goji berries in the last 90 days? Okay, a few. Who has had blue-green algae in the last 90 days? Blue-green algae in the last 90 days. Uh-oh, that's a problem. Okay? Maca in the last 90 days. Who's been chewing on maca root in the last 90 days? You guys see a problem? No one is teaching you what is real food. But yet you know what real food is, but you just don't eat it. So in my world, greens and vegetables that have phytonutrients and fruits that are low in sugar and high in antioxidants and fruits that are high in fat and sprouts and seeds and things like that should be the primary part of your diet. Am I saying become a vegan? No. Am I saying stop eating animal products? No, but I'm saying start incorporating healthy superfoods into your diet. A lot of these things are connected to actually disease reversers. Bee products doesn't mean honey, it means bee pollen. The actual pollen nuggets, and you can buy these things. So my challenge is most people have never heard of this stuff before. And that's what you need to start learning. You've got to start investigating for yourself and create the manual for your body because no one else is going to do it for you. Guess what Blue Cross Blue Shield is going to do for you in regards to this? Absolutely nothing. Medicare, Medicaid, United Healthcare, they're never going to teach this stuff to you guys, ever. So you have to become a purveyor of your own health. If we don't, we end up with heart disease. Is this food related? Can we eat ourselves into heart disease? Yes. We'll end up with cancer. Is cancer food related? Yes. We'll end up with strokes, meaning we can't get blood into our brain. Is a stroke food related? Yes. We'll end up with chronic breathing issues and lung issues. Challenge, is that food related? Yes, because if we are inflamed and we're acidic, our lungs close up, we can't breathe. Are accidents food related? Maybe, if you're drinking alcohol, could be food related. Or you slip on a banana, that was my joke behind it, right? Food related. And we can keep going, right? So I would ask you guys this. I wish this was my stock portfolio. I wish that I made money off this graph. Yet, it's climbing like crazy. And what's the number one reason? Again, remember, 1960, what did we do? We switched and said 4 food groups. 4. As soon as we said eat 4 food groups, we have been falling apart fast. And guess who's cashing in on this? Who's cashing in on that? The doctors and your insurance company and the pharmaceutical industry. Who would like to get out of this? Okay. If you have 15 pounds of weight on your body that you're not supposed to have, 2 times the risk of diabetes. Double the risk of diabetes. If you have 22 pounds more than you should have, look at this. 75% increased risk of heart disease. And some of you are sitting here, unfortunately, with 30, 40, 50, 60 extra pounds that you're not supposed to have. More heart, more cancer, and they've actually determined it has nothing to do with you getting older. There was a study done that found out that almost all bank robbers smoke. So I'm going to ask you guys a question. Does smoking cause bank robberies? We laugh at it, but ready? 98% of people at the time that had heart attacks had cholesterol in their arteries. Does that mean cholesterol in your arteries causes heart attacks? No. No. Does smoking cause robberies? Does cholesterol cause heart attacks? No. Correlation doesn't equal causation. Correlation does not equal causation. When you get older, are you supposed to get sick and fall apart and live with heart disease, cancer, and misery? No. But it's what's happening. So don't let the fact that everybody around you is doing that mean that's what's supposed to happen in your life. Cancer is not genetic. Heart disease is not genetic. It is you not taking care of your car and it's falling apart. And it's your responsibility. As you get older, do you get fatter? This is, of course, who? And this is Clint Eastwood now. And people will say, oh, that makes sense. That makes sense to me because he's getting older. It's a complete 1,000% lie. He should look just like that. But what did he not do? He didn't take care of his car. Didn't take care of his car. Didn't take care of his car. Right here is where I keep my genetics, says this lady. Only 2% of disease is actually genetic. And how do you know if a disease is genetic? You were born with it. Is cancer genetic? Only if you have cancer at birth. Is heart disease genetic? No, unless you are born with a heart defect. Is type 2 diabetes genetic? No. So stop having your doctor say, guess what? It's because you have a bad gene. They are lying to you through their teeth because they're trying to make a ton of money. It is not genetic. You get to determine if you get this or not. Do guns kill people? No. Bullets don't even kill people. People kill people by pulling the trigger. Your genes are just a gun. The question is, do you pull them? And the foods you eat determine if you pull them. Remember I said the choice you pick determines your longevity and your health. And I guarantee you this. You guys are going to get frustrated when I say this. If you go to the gas station and you put that in your car, then it tells me you put bad foods in your body. Because you don't treat your body as if it is the supreme being that it is. You say, I'm a regular human being. I put whatever I want in my mouth. I swallow it and I enjoy my foods. I guarantee you the choices you make of how you take care of your things reflects how you take care of your body. Now the room is silent. What's the cost difference between those two? 50 cents. How many gallons is an average gas tank? So what's 20 times 50 cents? $10. You guys are saying, I need to save $10 and let my car fall apart. And yet you'll say, that grass-fed organic meat that these guys brought is $9 a pound? That's ridiculous. I can get it for $4 at Buy Low. I'm going there. No, you can't. That is not grass-fed meat. Do you see where I'm going with this? Do you guys see this? They actually did a study that found out that the foods you eat, if they're cheap, are going to destroy your health. And you either pay now or you pay later. Now watch this. Ready? In the United States, your average appendectomy when your liver or your intestines does explode is about $7,900 your cost to get fixed. Now don't tell me that grass-fed beef is too expensive. How many pounds of grass-fed beef could I buy for $7,962? The farm is going to say, yeah, please, I'll place that order for you. You guys understand this? Take the responsibility for yourself. Everything in the United States costs more than every other country out there because we love to charge you to take care of your body because you don't take care of it. So these are the three most toxic things we can eat. Fats that are denatured and toxic and dangerous, proteins that are unclean, and sugar. And I'm talking all forms of sugar. Your body was not designed to consume sugar at all. It was not designed for sugar consumption. It was designed to eat proteins and fats. Proteins and fats. So if we are eating bad fats and not digesting our proteins and sugars, you're not putting fuel into your body that's going to make it last 120 years. And that's why we're sick. So if every part of our body has a cell, and the cells are fed with things like oxygen, water, nutrients, and nerve supply, this is where we need to focus. Can you guys look up at me for a second? The reason that your doctors are not able to help you is they never teach you anything about this, about the fact you're made of 100 trillion of these. And what makes me different in my approach, number one is I want to teach you. And number two, I want you to fix your membranes, your fats, your water, your nutrients, your receptors. You have got to fix the cell in order to get well. So if you're here today because you're going, well, I have all these problems and all my tests are normal, it's because they're not telling you how to check your cells and how to fix them. What are cells made of? There's water definitely on the inside, and there's water on the outside. But what is this thing made of? The membrane that wraps it. No, it's not made of protein. Proteins are on the inside. Proteins are things like the enzymes and everything else, but the membrane is made of fat. Now, watch what happens. We pull fat out of the human diet because we say, don't eat fat, you're going to have a heart attack. And what are we doing? We are destroying our cells. Therefore, we don't get well. Does that make sense? So you have to fix the membrane because the membrane is where everything happens. Now, inside the membrane are proteins. Yes, we need proteins. Listen, if I have too much sugar, can you guys turn the air on? I realize why it's so quiet is there's no more air, and it's getting really hot in here. Okay? There is sugar that's in our blood, yes? Okay? How does the sugar get into the cell? There's a protein receptor, an antenna. You have a hormone called insulin, and insulin's job is to land there, yes? And then once it lands there, what happens? Sugar goes in the cell, and it turns it into energy, something called ATP. Now watch this. If you've been eating McDonald's, KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, using canola oil, margarine, and everything else, the membrane is on fire. It's inflamed. So now insulin says, I can't get in there. It's blocked. And therefore, what happens? This starts to go up. And then you go to your doctor, they run a blood test, and they say you have, but you don't. Do you see it? You don't have diabetes. What do you have? Cellular damage at the membrane level. Why don't they tell you this? There's no drug that fixes this. It's not that they don't make money. There's nothing that they can do to fix this. Who has to fix this? You do. Now, my ultimate question to you, right now, just go with your gut. How would you de-inflame your cells? That's one way. Eat more fat. You guys understand? You already know how to do this. You just need to learn what stuff is made of. Now, watch this, though. If I drink a lot of water, because I heard somebody say, up my water, the water has to go through the fat. Is water fat soluble? Oh, no, they separate. How does the water get into the cell? It's going to break your mind when you understand this. How does the water get into the cell? If there's fat, how do I get water through fat? There has to be a channel. And if the channel is inflamed, does the water get into the... No. So can you drink a ton of water and not get well? You guys see it? This is the secret. If your cells are damaged, you can't get well. And what I'm going to teach you is how to fix this. And if you fix this, it fixes your gut. And if you also open this up, the same channels that let the good stuff in, let the toxins out. Now here's what's wild. You guys are going to love this. ATP is your energy. How do we recharge ourselves? So when my phone says less than 5%, how do I recharge my phone? Now when your body says less than 5%, how do you recharge yourself? But does sleep make more of this? So how do you recharge yourself? When you guys want a ton of energy, what do? You usually try to eat something, right? And you have to get it in again, but if you're inflamed, you can't get in there. The best way to have endless energy is get the membrane to work and eat fats because fats activate this. Listen, fat by definition has 9 kilocalories per gram ability to make ATP. Sugar only has 4. It's 2 times more energy when you eat fat. But what does the government say? Don't eat fat. Do you see the problem? Do you see the problem? You should eat a ton of fat. And listen, you guys already know what the healthy fats are. It's olive and fish and nuts and seeds. You already know this. But why don't you eat it? Somebody tell me, why don't you eat this?
Because it doesn't taste good.
Exactly. It doesn't taste like the candy bar. But yet, if you have a big enough why, if you're anchored to your human being that you're helping, I don't care what it tastes like. I don't care.
I'm beginning to wonder how long I've lived this long.
Well, there's got to be something you're doing that's keeping you alive. Now, in total transparency, when I do my longevity conferences, the longest living documented person on the world was 122 years old. She lived in France. Her name was Jean Clement. She ate 2 pounds of organic dark chocolate a day. What is she eating a lot of? So maybe somebody taught you lots of olive oil, castor oil. I don't know. So castor oil was big back in her day, right? In her day, castor oil was huge. Who's had castor oil lately? It's coming back a bit, isn't it? But I guarantee you guys drank castor oil.
I had castor oil for years.
Now you know why you're here today. Okay? Fats. Okay? Listen, the problem that I see with most people is we're scared to death of fat. Even though it's been put to death, we're scared to death of it. Why? Because we think it causes heart disease. In 1910, there were almost no heart attacks registered in the United States. None. No one died of a heart attack in the 1900s. No one. As soon as we started messing around with stuff, we started seeing a massive incline. Right now, 50% of deaths in the U.S. are due to heart disease. Because what have we done? we say low-fat yogurt is better than high-fat yogurt. And we're going to eat everything low-fat. What is your number one goal for the next 90 days to eat? Lots and lots of fat. Can you do it? If you guys are around for this, Ansel Keys back in the 60s, he's the guy that said cholesterol causes heart disease. He's the man who came up with the hypothesis. He's the guy who became really famous. He's the guy that said, if we can get rid of cholesterol, we're going to save humanity, no more heart attacks, and yet it didn't work. So then they said, whoops, we're completely wrong. Cholesterol is really good for you. And now 2014, they're saying, what should you eat? Every day you should eat a stick of butter. Every day. A whole stick of butter. Every day. And some of you are going, there's no way I'm going to do that. Every day you should eat a stick of butter. Watch this though, right? So what we do instead of butter, is we eat soybean oil, which is it's a horrible oil. Vegetable oil, which is the worst oil on the planet today. They've actually proven this. If you consume Wesson or canola or plant-based oils, corn, things like this, it shuts down your thyroid, it makes your brain rot, and it kills your adrenal glands. Physically, destroys the organs. Why? Because they're trans fats when they're heated. Now, how can this company say no trans fat, yet have a trans fat oil in their products? You guys know?
Yeah, you know that's
How do they do that? How are they legally allowed to say no trans fat, yet it is a trans fat? Nope, it has nothing to do with the percent. It has to do with the raw ingredients are raw, non-cooked. By itself, that is not a trans fat, but the moment you heat it up, it's a trans fat. Did they heat it to make this? Yes. So when they started, there were no trans fats. So that's why they can say no trans fats. But when they finish the product, there are trans fats. And there's no regulation saying the after effect is what's tested. The pre-effect is what's tested. So watch out. So if we have been eating foods that are processed, high in sugar, low in fat, we damage our cells. And because all the food passes through your intestines, you damage your intestines, you start to leak, and you get sick. Do you guys get that? Number one cause. How do we find out if you have a leaky gut? You get a test. Or how could I sit at my table and discover if I have a leaky gut? Got a runny nose when I eat. That should be a, oh my gosh, I am falling apart. I need to get myself fixed. But I promise you, no MD is going to say leaky gut exists. They disavow it. There's no such thing as a leaky gut. So if I want to clean the chemicals out, first of all, I have to understand where they come from. Tell me if you would agree, it's more dangerous to eat a medication than to eat toxic food. I'd rather eat an apple that is laced with pesticides than eat a whole bottle of aspirin. Would you? But yet I would never like to do that either. So where we get poisoned is the medications we're swallowing currently. And it's odd, isn't it? People take meds to get well, but yet it's making them sick. It's insanity. Yet we don't question it. We just go, well, the TV said that I should ask you. I'm asking you, you confirm what the TV said, so I'm going to go home and I'll swallow this. We're like sheep being led to the slaughter. Wake up. Wake up. Toxic food, our house with like mold and the cleaning products that we use, etc., heavy metals, and then unfortunately, all of our moms made us toxic. And let me ask you guys a question. Red folder only, because if you don't have red folder, you've already heard this question. How does our mom make us toxic? How does mom make us toxic? Not dad, mom. What she ate when? When she was pregnant with, because guess what? All of you came from a mom. All of you. Yes, dad, but literally inside mom. So mom's environment sets the tune for your environment. Thank you, mom. Okay, now listen. Did you realize that more pharmaceutical drugs kill people than the illegal drugs, yet this stuff is legal? It should be illegal for a doctor to write you a prescription, in my opinion. Like if you go to an MD and you say, my back hurts, and they give you a muscle relaxer, there should be the police at their door saying, you are going to jail, in my opinion. I hope we get there. Because they kill more people than if they gave you heroin. You could say, I would like heroin, and you'd have a better chance of not dying, yet that's illegal. And that's called insanity to me. More people die from medicine than guns, yet what does the government say? We've got to get rid of guns. Guns are killing so many people. There's so many shootings left and right. All shootings in the United States are connected to people taking what medication? All shootings at schools are connected to kids taking antidepressants. The antidepressants make them go crazy. They don't understand rules of conduct, and they shoot up schools. We are killing ourselves by taking them. When I say toxins come from within us as well, it's because this is an X-ray that shows me a highly toxic person. And somebody point out the toxins to me. The metal in the teeth, they're all over the place. But what of this is the most toxic? The root canal. Why? What used to live here? The root, but what is the root? The root is a nerve. So they suck the nerve out. They pack the nerve root with mercury and metal, and the nerve says absorb. You guys see it? The nerve says absorb. These are metal deposits. There's a huge chunk. Metal deposits, you see right here? Shoot, streaking up the jaw into the mouth. This was a patient of mine that I said, listen, I have maxed out my ability to help you, and you've got to get this addressed. Now, I'm just going to ask real quick, how much to take out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 fillings that are amalgams? What do you think his bill was from the holistic doctor? $38,000. And the dentist said to him, I have positive findings that your mercury in your blood is 8,000 times over the allowable limits. You're going to have a massive health issue if we don't do this. And guess what he said? Okay, I'll take out a loan. Now, if you wanted to buy a $38,000 car, how do you guys do that? Yeah, but nobody freaks out when you see this awesome BMW, $38,000. You're like, that's great. But when you see $38,000 for your teeth, why do we freak out and go, no. I'd rather spend it on my teeth than a car. You guys get that? So if you're here today and you have an amalgam filling, this is going to freak you out. The tooth that the filling is in is connected to organs. And so if you're wondering why you have breast cancer, you probably have a filling in one of those two teeth. If you're wondering why, for example, you've got macular degeneration, you may have an implant in that central incisor. If you're having liver congestion or failure, you may have a root canal. They have connected every tooth to every organ in your body, and where the filling is the mercury and the toxins going directly to these organs. Guess what are the most common teeth to have fillings put in them? Which ones? We don't have these anymore, most of us. Those are our wisdoms. They were pulled. So these two are the most common right here. And what do most people have issues with? Lung cancer is number 2 cancer in the United States. Colon cancer is number 3. Leaky gut, breast cancer, stomach cancer, thyroid issues, diabetes. Do you guys see this? We are allowing ourselves to be poisoned, but because we don't know, we never do anything about it. It is. Just Google a tooth organ chart. Tooth organ chart. So what happens is this. We eat ourselves into sickness. We breathe ourselves into sickness because you inhale the mercury vapors. And we say stuff like, oh, it's a little fuzzy, right? Your body only has the ability to turn itself into what you ate. Do you guys know that? What you eat becomes you. So if I live my whole life off Fruity Pebbles, Cocoa Puffs, Coca-Cola products like I did, no wonder I was sick. My lungs were like, I don't see any healthy fat. But I have got to have a membrane, otherwise this human being's going to die. So take that Fruity Pebble, Cocoa Puff stuff and make lung cells out of it. No wonder I couldn't breathe. And it's not, I feel bad for my parents because no one taught them. No one. So what you need to do is understand stuff, and I hope I wake you guys up to this. If you consume a French fry today, did you know it takes 204 days for it to come out of you? The fat, because they use plant-based fats like peanut oil, vegetable oil, stuff like that. You take a potato and you fry it in this. 51 days later, half of the fat is still inside of you because your body is not designed to process processed fats. It just can't do it. It would be like swallowing a rock and asking yourself to absorb nutrition out of it. It's just going to pass right through you. So the problem is fats can be absorbed. So you don't just poop the French fry out. I wish you would. But what happens is you pull it into you. 204 days to get it out. Now, how many months is that? But most likely in those 6 months, what are you going to do? Eat another one. And so you see, it's a perpetual cycle and you can't get out of it. These are things that are loaded with trans fats. And guys, my pantry used to look like this. Some of you still have this stuff in there. You have your popcorn, your Bisquick. You got this stuff. I'm here to tell you today this. It's real simple. If it has a barcode on a box, do not eat it. It's that simple. Don't eat stuff that's coming from man-made plants. Factories should eat real food. Real food. The oils that you cook your food in is also a big problem because soy and corn and safflower and cotton and canola and all of these things, these all turn into trans fats the second you heat them. So how many are using canola right now? I mean, it's okay if you guys are like, I still use canola oil. The problem is canola is in everything. It has been marketed as the healthiest oil on the planet, and in other countries, they use it like pesticides. They spray it onto the plants, and it kills insects. Only in the United States is canola allowed for human consumption. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. What I do is I use stuff like this. Coconut butter. Who's done this before? Coconut butter. The reason is it's loaded with fat, but I'm going to ask you guys a question. Doesn't medicine say saturated fat causes heart disease? So does saturated fat cause heart disease? No. Just like smoking doesn't cause bank robberies. So why would they say to you saturated fat causes heart disease? Why would they say that? Because they don't want you to eat plant-based saturated fats. 14 grams of saturated fat found in medium chain triglyceride oil. I drink 2 tablespoons of this every day because this membrane is made of medium chain triglycerides. So if I drink 2 tablespoons a day, I can repair that membrane and I can let my receptors heal. If I eat 2 tablespoons of this a day, I'm getting exactly 16 grams of medium chain triglycerides. Now, do I put that onto onto toast? No, because the toast causes damage to my intestines. So how do I eat this? Directly out of the jar. Now, I had this friend who came up to me once and he goes, listen, toast really is just the delivery method for butter. Like, that's how I get butter into my body. And I said, it's not. A fork is a delivery method for butter. My daughter is 5 years old, and people still think it's funny that I cut 4 tablespoons of slices of butter for her, and I give them to her, and she eats them directly. Everybody looks at us like we are from Mars. Okay? Yes, you should eat butter directly, every day. It's a healthy fat. It repairs your membranes. You can melt it into your coffee. You can blend it around in whatever you want. Cook your eggs in it. And I know you're freaking out, some of you, because you're like, no, the government said that causes heart disease and cancer. It does not. It does not. Butter is one of the #1 missing nutrients in our diet that we ate a ton of back in the 50s and 60s. Do you guys understand that? Butter. Lots and lots. Your hormones, your brain, your membranes, and the ability for you to lose weight is based upon how much fat you eat. The more fat you eat, the better your brain, your hormones, your membranes, and the better you lose weight. It goes against everything we've ever been taught, right? If I eat a lot of fat, I'm going to get fat. And that is not true. The other challenge is all of our stuff is sprayed. Now listen, this is people unloading canisters of pesticides at a farm. And what are they wearing? And this guy is spraying a field. And what is he wearing? And yet that's okay for you to consume? It's a little weird, isn't it? It's a little strange. We have connected now pesticides to almost every condition today. So if you have diabetes, I guarantee you it's because you're not eating enough fat and you're not eating organic foods and you have a damaged membrane. You just didn't know you did. And there's tests that you can get tested for membranes, which I'll show you in a moment. I'll show you how to find out if your membranes are damaged. I put non-organic strawberries into alkaline water. Who's heard of alkaline water? Alkaline water. And I put organic strawberries into alkaline water. What do you think is turning it yellow? Pesticides. The alkaline water can pull pesticides off of fruits. I put non-organic cherry tomatoes and non-organic grapes in a bowl of alkaline water. Now, how many of you would drink that? But what happens when you eat that? You are drinking that. Do you guys get this? Stop saying it's too expensive to buy the organic tomatoes. It's not too expensive. What is expensive is taking care of that in your body when it causes heart disease. Do you guys understand this? Okay. Now, how many of you are like, wait, alkaline water, where do I get alkaline water from? Yeah, but watch out. Asking where do I get alkaline water from is like saying, well, now I can buy the cheap stuff and drop it in here. It's not going to pull it all off. This is an analogy to show you all the crap that's on there. Drinking alkaline water is a good thing, but not all the time. It causes problems in your body if you are alkaline all the time. So the good thing is that if you dig deep enough, the Environmental Working Group has websites you can go to that will show you what you should never, ever, 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 ever eat non-organic. If you eat non-organic strawberries, you are eating toxic poison berries. Toxic. If you eat spinach, nectarines, apples, peaches, pears, cherries, potatoes, peppers, tomatoes, celery, and grapes non-organic, you are poisoning yourself because they are the highest sprayed on the planet. Guys, go to foodnews.org and you can download the guides. They're there available for you. What this means is these are clean so that if you did accidentally buy a non-organic avocado, because of how thick that external skin is, the pesticides will be on the skin, you peel it off, you eat the fruit, you're safe. Does that make sense? But I would still buy an organic avocado. Why? Because it's going to have more minerals and nutrients that come from the soil. So everything is available for you. Here's a test we run to find out how toxic your cells are. And I say, I'm looking at your sugars, I'm looking at your creatine, I'm looking at your homocysteine and C-reactive proteins. These are inflammatory markers, guys. So if I'm at literally higher than normal inflammation, that tells me your cells are damaged. Who's had C-reactive protein and homocysteine tested by their doctor? Okay, what did they tell you to do about it, though? Nothing. They just say, I'm sorry, you're inflamed, have a nice day. It's ridiculous, isn't it? So you can get these tests run, vitamin D, thyroglobulin, thyroid. The reason I check the thyroid a lot is this guy will tell me if you're falling apart before you know you're falling apart. Now, out of total transparency, go to your MD, ask for these tests to be run. How much does that cost? What's an average blood panel run through your MD? Yeah, well, if you're going to go this degree all the way down to reverse T3, the average is $600 to $800. So some of you have been flipping through my little thing, right? And you're like, oh my God, like $897. That would be the retail cost through your insurance if you came to my office and said, run that leaky gut test, run this blood panel so I can find out where I'm going. But I'd love to give you guys an offer today, which is those of you who have got the red folders and you're going, I'd like to get this test done, I will cut it down to cost $497, and you get this test, you get the leaky gut test, and you're going to get all the neurological tests, and you get the follow-up appointment, which I will show you what's going on, we'll make a recommendation, a suggestion, and you get a 1-hour appointment on your third visit directly one-on-one with me where I will say, here's exactly what's going on, here's how things change, here is your plan, your manual to fix yourself. Now whose responsibility is it to do it? Yours. And that's for you guys to decide. If that's you, there's information in here which we'll talk about later on how you can do that. So can we test for things? Look at this, 145, 7.4, severe diabetic, C-reactive protein and homocysteine are high, severe cellular damage, and there's antibodies against the thyroid. How on earth would a human being develop antibodies against their own thyroid? How does that happen? Remember this? Remember this? Okay? If thyroid tissues come through and I build an antibody to it, so how on earth would I eat thyroid tissues? Where would thyroid tissues come from? What kind of meat? No, not grass-fed. Not necessarily grain-fed. Processed. Lunch meats, anything that's in a circle. Because you know what that stuff is? It's ground tissues with meat put together. If I eat real grass-fed steak, they didn't grind anything into it, so it's just the meat tissue. But if I eat processed lunch meats, if I eat anything processed foods, they take the carcasses and the tissue leftovers and they grind it into it. How on earth are you guys getting cartilage into your food? Because they're grinding it up and making boneless chicken wings. Do you guys understand this stuff? Processed is dangerous. So, can I take and work with people and see changes in their life? Listen, I'm not putting these up here just because they lost weight, but for some reason, showing these photos to you make you go, oh my God, this is amazing. I would like to do this. I don't know what it is. This is my hairstylist. I met her 10 years ago. She's been cutting my hair every year for 10 years. And one year I said to her, listen, you take care of my hair, but I have not been able to take care of your health yet. And listen, no judgment, but you're falling apart. And you have a grandson that you need to live for. And she literally told me, she's like, no one's ever spoken to me like that before. And I got a little nervous that she was going to say, who the hell are you to say something like that to me? But she goes, but I like that, and I'd love to come see you. And so I took this photo just a couple weeks ago. Like, come on, come on, come on, right? But these are people who, like you, sat through an event and said, I am worth it. I should get tested. I should do this. Thelma, can you stand up for a second? I met Thelma about 1.5 years ago, and Thelma came just like you guys, and she's here for constant education. And Thelma even agreed with me at the time. She's like, well, I feel like I'm doing pretty good, but I'd like more help, yes? Now, are you okay if I show this? Hopefully, because I've already put it in here. But guys, come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. How much time did that take? Yeah, not quite 9 months. And Thelma, do you mind sharing? Did you go to the gym for that?
No.
Did you do anything like crazy for that? Any crazy dieting? What'd you do? We ate lots of fats. We started intermittent fasting. We started getting her spine worked with. You guys see it? She cleaned out her gut. She got rid of the toxins and she fixed her nerves. Never once went to the gym and did crazy workouts. Like, okay, if you're ready to go sign up right now, all you have to do is go walk right over there. I'm just kidding. You guys understand? Some of you should be like, I'm going to bust the line down. I'm going to knock people over so I can be number one. That's your decision to make. Where do we get healthy grass-fed products from? Guys, the reason I asked that farm to come is because they actually called me on my radio show and said, oh my God, we love what you do. And we are a small farm, and we're trying to find out how can we get our products in front of other people. And I was just talking with them, and I said, well, what's the reason you guys do this? Because everybody's getting poisoned from eating toxic meats. You guys, you feel the chill bumps? I feel them right now. And this lady, she's like, and I want to do it. I've got to figure out how to get connected with you. And I was like, well, I know it's short notice, but I'm having an event on Saturday. Can you guys come? They're like, we'll be there. Now, they drove from South Carolina with a freezer of grass-fed meat and bones for you guys today, and today only. And some of you have already placed your orders up front, and if you missed it, don't worry, they're still here. But listen, you do need to invest in your health. Eat grass-fed meats. Get chicken that's clean and fish that's clean, because what we want is to connect you with resources. So, am I a practitioner? Yes. But I'm a health coach, and what I do is I do stuff like this. You do need to find places that guarantee from start to finish only grass, because I hate to let the secret out of the bag. Whole Foods, grass-fed, is not grass-fed. It is grass-fed until the last 90 days. And why do they feed 90 days? Notice. Why do they feed corn to them for 90 days? It takes 90 days for a change to take place. 90 days. All it takes is 90 days of eating corn, and they get fat, sick, and nearly dead. But because they grew up on grass, the law says I can label that grass-fed. It has to be grass-finished. Finished on grass. Finished on grass. Where do you find those? At farms that will adhere to it, and that's why they're here today. Does that make sense?
My daughter.
It's really, how exciting. How exciting. So watch this, right? Everybody knows sugar's bad for you, but how many of you know the allowable amount of sugar a human should consume per day? How much sugar should you actually eat per day? I know, right? They never tell us this, right? So I'm going to write these numbers down. Ready? To stay healthy for the rest of your life, so for prevention, shouldn't eat more than 40 grams of sugar per day. And that's actually a lot. For prevention of sickness, illness, and disease, 40 grams of sugar max per day. If you want to get well, though, if you have a health issue, how much sugar should you eat? Let's see if you guys have been paying attention. How many grams of sugar should you eat? 0. 0 grams of sugar. Now, look up at me real quick. Does that mean I can have an apple and still get well? No. So if you want to reverse your health conditions, no fruits, sorry for that, no fruits at all. Zilch. And I know right now you're saying in your head, that doesn't make any sense. Vegetables and fruits are supposed to be healthy, so I should be able to eat them and get well. No. If you want to heal, 0. 0 sugars. But once you do heal, guess what? We can start adding them back and go up into the range of no more than 40 per day. Now, how much fat should you eat per day? A lot, but let's get specific. Who knows the gram amount of fat they should consume on a daily basis? 100 or more. Minimum of 100 grams of fat per day. Minimum. If you guys, no, for just everything, for prevention and also for correction of wellness. 100 grams of fat per day minimum. Minimum. Now, 2 tablespoons of that oil was how many grams? You guys remember? 16 to 14. So how many tablespoons, if that was all I was going to eat per day, would I need to eat? Yeah, 6 to 8 tablespoons to get up to that. And I'm at my 100 grams per day. 100 grams. Now, sugar's everywhere, though. Would you guys agree with me? It doesn't just come in the form of sugar anymore. We have high fructose corn syrup. We have corn solids. We have maltodextrin. It's everywhere. Here's the secret of finding out if your food has sugar in it. It has a barcode somewhere on the box or the thing it came in. I guarantee if it has a barcode is loaded. The number one source of sugars that people are drinking and consuming today is from this. We drink 55 gallons per year on the average. And what's the problem with an average? That means she might drink 0 and he might drink 100 gallons. It's still an average. So just because you say, I don't drink that, someone's drinking yours. Did you know that one soda takes 30 glasses of water to neutralize in the body? Did you know that? So if I drink 1 can of Coke, I have to drink 30 glasses of water to get all of the crap out of my body. Now, I hope that rattles some of you. Now, some of you may say, well, what about a diet soda? It's 300 glasses of water for a diet soda because diet soda has more chemicals than regular soda. 30 glasses for 1 can, 300 glasses for diet sodas because diet soda is full of aspartame and Splenda and sucralose and all that mumbo-jumbo in it. Did you know that sugar directly feeds cancer? Directly. Now, did you know that all of you have cancer in you right now? Confirmed. They've studied this. You have, on average, 10,000 cancer cells in your body. So my question is, do you want to feed your cancer? This is a 1931 Nobel Prize winner that says cancer has countless causes, but for all cancers, there's one cause. Summarized up, it is the body's representation of not using oxygen and instead fermenting
Sugar.
Cancer feeds off of sugar. Let me prove it to you. There's a test medically called a PET scan. In a PET scan, they give you radioactive glucose, sugar, and they ask you to swallow it. And what they do is they take pictures of where the sugar goes, and they say, whoops, there's lots of sugar in your gut. It should only be in your kidneys and your bladder because it's toxic, so you should excrete them. So if you have sugar lighting up in your colon, what do you have? Cancer. So what do they use to find cancer? Sugar. And what do you eat every day? Sugar. So what are you going to start finding? Yikes. Yikes. Can we stop eating sugar for 90 days? Great. Okay. So what would we do then for 90 days? It's simple. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of fat. Next would be moderately amounts of clean proteins, so fish, chicken, beef, and then small amounts of greens. Notice no fruit anywhere. If you guys do this for 90 days, you're going to fix that chemical stress leg. Got it? And you're going to help to heal the leaky gut leg. But now I only have 2 legs of stability, so what do I need to do? What do I need to do next? I have to fix my nerve system. Now, some of you are going, oh, this is the chiropractic sale. Here's where he goes and says you've got to get adjusted for the rest of your life. That's your decision. I will get adjusted for the rest of my life. My 5-year-old has been adjusted every week since she was born. She's now 5, has had, what is that? 52 times 5, whatever, 250 some adjustments. She's never had a cough, a cold, a sniffle, an earache, a whooping, nothing. She's unvaccinated and she eats this way. My son is now 8 months, never, 8 months old. No runny nose, no whooping cough, no ear infections, nothing, because they live a 3-legged life, because I live that life. Do you guys understand that? Here's the challenge with eating well and cleaning out your gut and not fixing your nerves. Ready for this? If I have a nerve that is crushed going to the cells of my intestines, so my intestinal cells the nerves are damaged, can this cell repair itself when I eat the healthy fats? Yes or no? No, it cannot, because the nerve system tells the cell what to do. The brain tells the cell how to be active. So if a fat is floating by and there's no neurological tissue, this is a disconnected. This cell is not connected to the nerve system, so it is going to be euthanized. The body will actually kill a cell that's disconnected from the nerve tissue. So if fats are flowing through and all the good stuff you guys eat, you can't fix cells that are neurologically disconnected. Did you know that? I know most people are like, I've never heard this before in my life. If the cell is not communicating with the brain and the brain is not communicating with the cell, your innate immune system says that's going to go rogue, it's going to turn into cancer, kill it. And the body destroys the cell. And then a new one will come back and it is connected to the nerve system. But if you're not eating this way, what happens? It gets sick, it gets disconnected, and the body tries to kill it. Most of our disease is our body attacking itself. We are killing ourselves because we are disconnected. So could I clean out my gut, clean out my chemical stressors, and heal? Not 100%. You'll get better, but you won't be reversed. And that's why some of the most important things are to do all three. Now, you guys are going to get an email of this. It is a special ebook that we have designed that has dietary suggestions on how to make meals and stick with those three rules. Because the number one thing I get is, well, that's great. Thank you for fats and meats and greens, but like, how do I make that for dinner? So that's what the ebook is for, okay? So it'll come through your email and you guys will get it. It's free. But wouldn't you agree, if I clean this out and I clean that out, but I ignore, I'm still imbalanced. And this is where the missing link comes. People come to meet with me and they're like, well, I've already done the functional stuff. I went to a holistic practitioner. I did the naturopathic. I'm taking herbs and vitamins and nutrients, but I still have a thyroid issue. You know what that tells me? No one's addressed your nerve system yet. Nobody has touched your spine. And some of you will say, no, I go to a good chiropractor. I've been before I've even getting adjusted. There's a difference between getting your spine adjusted and having your nerve system working. Right? So who's been before where they do this kind of thing? Pop, pop, crack, crack, right? That's the chiropractor who says stuff like this. Hey, where do you hurt today? Where are you experiencing pain? Oh, you have pain in your neck? I'd like to adjust you to get rid of your pain. I do not do that. What I do is I look and I say, where is there a blockage in your power? Because would you guys agree with me? I mean, this is just basic anatomy. My daughter is learning this right now, and even she's getting it. In first grade, they say brain has a tube that runs all the way down, and what comes off? This is your spinal cord. What comes off the spinal cord? Nerves. And where do the nerves go? They go everywhere. They go to muscles, they go to the skin, but most importantly, they go to our organs, yes? So watch. In kindergarten, they're saying if you were to cut a nerve to an organ, what would happen to the organ? The organ would shut down. If it's an organ of vital importance, you would die. Give me an organ of vital importance. I heard too many at once. Heart is a vital organ. What else? Liver, you can't live without a liver. What else? Pancreas you definitely need, right? I heard lungs, right? Whatever. What else? Oh my God, right? Is there a nerve, though, that goes to the brain? No. The brain has its own supply. It's the source, so if you damage the brain, you damage everything else. Organs of vital importance, but it is a vitally important one, right? What else? Yeah, but you have two of them. So I'm going to give that to you. But look, if I have nerves, and you know why we have a left and right? Because you have a left lung and a right lung, a left kidney, a right kidney. You guys understand that? So if I have left kidney damage, but this one's good, will I be okay? Yes. But if I have heart damage on my left side, will I be okay? No. So if you have nerve damage, you don't just have pain, you have dysfunction. And guess how many people say, well, I feel fabulous, but I have a heart problem. Right there, that tells me nerve imbalance. I don't have any neck pain, but my thyroid's falling apart. Right there, that tells me nerve imbalance. Here's what it tells me. You have a fuse thrown in your body. Would you guys agree? This goes to the dishwasher, for example, in this analogy. Is there anything wrong with the dishwasher? No. But will it work? No. But is there anything wrong with it? No. Now, doesn't your doctor say your thyroid is the problem? That thyroid has stopped working. Total 100% lie. What has stopped working is there's not enough power to the thyroid for it to do its job. Your heart is enlarged. It's not pumping properly. 1,000% lie. It might look like that, but that's not what caused it. Do you guys understand this? If you have a nerve that is thrown, then it won't work. So if I hire a dishwasher mechanic, he'll come and look at my dishwasher and go, man, all the components are good, but what would a really good mechanic do? Hang on, I'll be right back. And he's going to go, oh, no problem. And what will he do? He will flip the switch. He'll adjust the power. He'll be the chiropractor for your house. Do you see this? Do you see this? So your spinal bones are the fuses, and if you get an alignment issue, can you guys see that this x-ray is showing a shift to which side? Left or right? Left. What is this right here? Nope, the kidney's way down here. Pancreas is across here. Something bad. I heard that. You're right. Spleen's on the outside. Liver's right here. Left side, under your ribs, stomach. Do you think your stomach should have a massive amount of air inside of it? So why does this person's stomach have a ton of air in it? That nerve goes to the stomach. Goes to the stomach. Now, there's damage right here. See how it bends? And right there. So those are nerve blocks. Guess how much pain that lady was in when she came to see me? None. None. She goes, I have no pain in my back. But every time I eat, I get so much bloating and I get reflux. And the doctors have said I have something called Barrett's. I have erosion at my esophagus. They want to go in and do a surgery and cut open the spot to push my esophagus back down. And then they want to take a laser and slice the tissue to make it inflamed, to make it bleed, so that hopefully my body will repair that. Insanity, if you ask me. I told her, well, would you like to do it naturally? Now, I've never, ever, ever met anybody that says no. I've never met anyone that says no. But what do people say to me? Would you like to fix this naturally? What do they say? How much does it cost? That's the wrong question, because I said, do you want to fix it naturally? It's a yes or no. It has nothing to do with price. But if you let cost tell you if you're going to fix it, what if you say, I don't have enough money to fix it? Does your nerve system care the amount of money you have in your bank account? If the nerve is pinched, the organ shuts down, and if it goes to the point, how much do you think the surgery is going to cost? Now, we're talking with her deductible, which was a $5,000 deductible. She would pay $5,000, and she had to pay 20%. Now, this is the insurance. Her insurance company said, once you pay $5,000, we'll pay 80% of the surgery. You'll only have to pay the other 20%. It sounds like a good deal, doesn't it? Like if this suit was 80% off, I would buy it. It's a good deal. But I don't know how much it costs, so if it's a $5 million suit, I'm still not going to buy it because 20% is way too much. If it was an Armani, which it's not, and it was $5,000, 20% is still a lot. If it's a Calvin Klein, which this is, and it was $900, now it's a little bit bigger deal. What do you think the insurance cost to do the surgery was? No, it's $35,000. Now watch, she pays $5,000, and she'll pay 20% of the $30,000 that's left. And I told her, well, your insurance is telling me they don't cover my services. They don't cover the correction for this. So what if I give you a discount? What if I charge you a fee that's cash-based, and you pay me for my services, not what the insurance says the cost is? It ended up costing her about $3,000, and she got it corrected, and now she hasn't had the surgery. Natural. We go after the nerve damage. Now watch this. When you look at a nerve, they come off the cord in these little tiny pockets, and they go into that little tiny hole right there. Do you guys see that? So it's obviously a dissection of someone who has passed. Now, out of the spine are little tiny holes, and they go to every organ. So if you do have pain in your upper back, what would that tell me? Red, red, red alert. That means there's been nerve damage for years and you already have an organ effect. But if you don't have any pain, red, red, only 2 red alerts, it tells me you might have organ damage. And what's the only way of knowing? How would you know if you have nerve damage? You got to get an x-ray done. The reason why you cannot wait for pain is they've done studies on this. A cross-section of a nerve is 96% control of your muscles and your organs and only 4% control of pain. So watch, ready, watch. If this nerve goes to my heart and it comes out of my back and I start to squeeze it, will I have pain? But what will start to happen instantly? My heart will start to beat weirdly, and my automatic system won't work, and so I'll start to have high pressures and everything else. Now, you'll feel that, but you won't feel pain here. Now, you go to your doctor, and your heart's freaking out, and what do? They put you on a drug to make it beat regularly, but what about the nerve? It's still... So now this drug effect is only going to work for a period of time. Then all of a sudden, it starts to do it again, and you go back, and they go, well, now you need, not yet, 2, then 4, then a specialist. Now you go to the heart doctor. This guy's worth millions of dollars, and he lives in Duke or Mayo or the clinic or wherever, right? And you have to pay your specialty copays, and he just says, well, their drugs are cheap because you went to a real regular doctor. I'm the doctor, so I'm going to give you something that's new. New. But it's going to cost you. And you're like, it's my health. I don't care. You're missing the source. Do you guys see it? You're missing the source. So can we take an x-ray and look at where the nerves come out? Do you see this right here? And right there, and right there, and right there, and right there. And you see the discs? I can look at an x-ray of your neck and tell you if your body is healthy from a neurological perspective, not pain. You guys get this? So if you've had an x-ray taken and it looks like this, wide open at the top, a nice arc running all the way through with your ear over your shoulder, I get to say that neurological leg is 100% sound. Then I would say, but you have chemical stressors and a leaky gut, so all you need is nutritional coaching and advice. You don't need to be adjusted unless you want to do it for long-term maintenance and support. Do you guys get it? No correction, just maintenance. Do you guys get this? Now, if you come into me and I see something that looks like this, a neurological scan can be performed showing pressure or irritation. So these are nerves that are blocked. Sinus, thyroid, lungs, heart, 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 heart. Why do we have so many nerves going to the heart, but we only have one going to the sinuses? Help me out with that. Why do I have multiple nerves to my heart, but only one nerve to my sinus? Block the nerve to the sinus, what will be the effect? Congestion. Am I going to die? No. Runny nose. Am I going to die? No. Block one nerve to the heart. If there was only one, what would happen? Instant death. So your innate creator said, I'm going to give you more nerves to vital organs than to non-vital. More nerves to vital organs than non-vital. So I look here and I go, oh my gosh, massive nerve damage to your heart and your thyroid, and you have some sinus congestion. Guess what the woman said to me? How'd you know I have sinus issues? I didn't write it on my chart. I came to you because I'm on heart issues and I want to get off the medications, but how do you know about my sinuses? Because every nerve goes everywhere. This nerve goes to your digestion. That goes to the lymphatics in your throat, your fluids. This is your upper gastric system, your lower gastric system, your kidney, your spleen, your pancreas, your uterus, your prostate. You understand? It's all mapped out. So if I see a white nerve, I get to say the nerve is working. If I see a black nerve, I get to say the nerve is damaged. And guess what everybody says to me? I don't have any neck pain. This thing must be wrong. This was Angela when I met her. Now remember, Angela's been working with chiropractors. She's been working in medical clinics. She was working with all these other people saying, here's how to get healthy, do this, do this, do this. Is her neck curved? What's going on up here? Is it open? Can you guys see this? See this? Open. Okay. Should be 18 and 45. Is it 18? No, no, no. Straight as a board. Do you see how the discs are crushed and the nerve channels are closed off? So does she have a nerve system that's working? No. Now you might say to herself or yourself, well, how can she still be alive then if it's that much damage? Because did this happen overnight? Did she go to sleep like this and the next morning wake up like that? No. It was developed over years and years and years and years and years. Do you get a cavity just one day after eating a Snickers bar? No. You get it over the years of doing that. Okay, so it's a slow progression. I started to work with her, and she was going to me, why can't I lose weight? I run like crazy, and I'm gaining weight. Why? And I said, well, your thyroid is blocked neurologically. You can't send the signal to your thyroid. Your thyroid is like your thermostat. You know how we keep bumping this down? Because there's a lot of bodies in here, and you guys are warm, which is fine. If we set the temperature. What would happen if I set the temperature to 92? What would happen? It would get really hot in here, yes? What happened if that thing is accidentally set at 200 pounds? No matter what she does, it's going to be 200 pounds. No matter how many windows we open, no matter how much we turn the fans on, if it's set to 90 degrees and the heater's on, it's going to be hot. Do you guys get the analogy?
Yeah.
You've got to get your systems to work for you, not against you. So I start to work with her, not in a chiropractic perspective of crack, crack, but in a perspective of physical therapy and what we call spinal manipulation. We use instruments. I use vibration effects. I will put a body weight on you guys. We'll put it on your chest and your head. It forces you up like this. We stand on a plate, and the plate vibrates, and it shakes your spine for 5 minutes. It'll push you back to where you go. We do an adjustment. We do supportive therapies. And I do it for a couple months, and I go, oh, what do you notice?
No.
What's starting to happen? You guys tell me. What's happening? Opening up, and the curve is coming back. So is her nerve system turning on or off? On. Now, so what will her thyroid be doing? Working. So how much did she have to run to lose weight now? Holy cow! Do you guys see it? Okay, so then we keep working and we keep going, and now I have her here, and so what do we have? Almost perfection. Normal, Angela. That's what I would love to do with you guys, but it's only if you want to. Some of you have never had this test done in your life. I encourage it. Some of you have been to chiropractors before, and they said this, well, your neck is it's a mess. You have arthritis, it's straight, it's everything. That's why you have pain. We're going to adjust you 3 times a week for 2 weeks, right? And then we're going to do 2 times a week for 2 weeks, and then you're going to say, you know what, it does feel a lot better, Doc. You're really good. You're a really good chiropractor. Thank you. And then they're going to say to you, well, listen, you need to get an x-ray done so we can confirm that it changed, but you're going to have to pay for that. So do you want us to x-ray you? And you're going to go like this, you know, I feel pretty good. I think I'm going to pass. And they never show you the after effect x-ray of your therapy. And you know what I've seen? It looks exactly like that. Crack, crack does not move a spine. It does not. It does not. If you move a joint, if I was able to take a bone that was over here and actually adjust it like that, guys, you would need surgery. You understand that? If your neck can move this much with one visit, I have people all the time say, hey, Doc, I was gardening, and I bent over, and then my back went out. That bone slipped right out of place. And I'm like, no, if it did, you'd be in the ER right now. What you heard was the pressure built up in the disc, and what happened is it started to fill itself up, and when you bent over, it released, and the muscles spasmed because all the toxins came out, and that's why your back hurts. And they go, well, can you just put the bone back in place? No, you can by doing what? Right? You guys understand? Okay? So, I do the scans and I see what? Oh my God, would you guys agree the difference? So guess why she's so healthy now? Cleans out her gut, detoxes your body, but most importantly, fix the nerves. Fix the nerves, okay? So, what I'm suggesting that you do is that you stop guessing. You know how many people come up to me afterwards and they say stuff like this, hey Doc, I've had diabetes for the last 25 years. Can you help me? And my answer will be yes. And they often say, well, what am I supposed to do? And guys, total transparency, because it's going to happen. We're about to close, and you're going to come up and you're going to ask me these questions. And they say, what should I do? And I go, were you here today? What you should do is find out if you have a leaky gut, see how many chemicals are inside of your body, and get your nerves fixed. But you know what they do? They come up here and they go, well, I can't afford that. Or they say stuff like, hey, listen, does Medicare pay for this? And I'd like to answer this right now by asking you guys a question. Will your insurance pay for functional testing to find the cause of your problem? No. Okay? So if you're here today and you're like, well, I really want to do this, so how can I afford this then? The reason I'm going from $897 to $497 is, all I ask you to do is to cover the test that shows me, are you leaking and are you chemically toxic? The lab charges me $497 to run that blood test. So all I'm asking you to do is cover the cost of the blood test. And then what I will do is we'll include a urine test to look for metabolites. We'll include a full structural chiropractic analysis of your spine, including the nerve scans and the body scans and the compositions. You'll come back on your second visit, and I'll say, here's everything we found. And this is the thing I want you to try. I want you to get this nerve released, and we'll help you with it. I want you to do this dietary change for the next 7 days. I want you to do this fast. I want you to eat this much butter. I want you to do this. And then I want you to come back in 2 or 3 or 4 or 7 days, whatever we determine, and I want to sit down with you one-on-one for an hour, and I want to say, here's what you need to do. And if you do this, I promise you you're going to get well. But I know that not all of you are going to do that, because you're going to go, well, what about this, and what about that, and what about this, and what about that? Those are the 97%ers we talked about in the beginning. You guys remember that? 97%er? So if you're a 3%er, you're going to say this, $497, what a great deal. I get all that. Oh my God, I'm going to do it. And you go right over there as soon as we break. Does that make sense? My staff has everything up for you. And the people who are shaking their heads, you know who you guys are? You're the patients, because you're like, I've done this. It changed my life. But you're here with the red folder, you're going like this. Should I do this? This is interesting. Right? I wonder. I can't answer your wonder for you, but all I can say is I promise you, you're going to figure out what you need to do, and we never force anybody to do anything. Never. So, let me show you a test that I would suggest you guys get. This is a very special x-ray that most chiropractors don't take, because you got to sit someone down very, very still and block their vision and open their mouth and shine that x-ray right through their mouth, because we looked for the #1 bone called C1 in its placement. Let me ask you this. Why do I care so much about that nerve and its placement as opposed to this one? Why do I care more about that one than this one? Help me out with this. Closest to the brain.
Yeah.
So, in this person, now listen, she's sitting on my stool with these goggles on that I use to block her vision, and I said, look straight. She goes like this. Okay, I'm straight. And we said, well, can you just do something for me? Look to your left, look to your right, look up, look down. Now look straight. She goes, I'm straight. So we took the x-ray, because that's what her body thinks it is. Now you guys tell me if you see something. Is her spine in straight alignment as I look through her neck and her head? Oh, leaning way off to the right. Okay? So there's neurological compression right through here, and this bone is rotated, which means the nerve that exits right there is compressed. I know you can't see that, but that's what I'm trained to see. Now you will be able to see this one. This person came in from my last event and said, I have major digestive issues. We sat them down, we said, look straight. They were looking straight. We're like, okay, good. We shot the x-ray and we went, oh my God. So you guys tell me, where's the oh my God? Oh my gosh. Do you know what this means? This bone has been pushed like this. And the whole thing has gone like that. And there's a ligament tear here and a ligament tear here. And there's a severe compression to the cord because the whole thing is shifted to the side. Now, your viewing field, right, left. Or sorry, left, right. Sorry, I've got to invert myself. Left, right. Which way did the bone move? So which nerve is compressed? The right or the left? The left is compressed. You know what she said to me? I have left sciatica. My left arm is falling down like that. I've got numbness here. My nose is completely blocked on the left. My earring's on the left. My eye twitch is on the left. And no one can figure out what's going on. And I said, I know exactly what's going on. And I laid her down on her side, and I did an adjustment from here to this way to slide it back. And she said, oh my God, my hand stopped going numb. And I can hear it out of my left ear. Just like that. I can hear it out of my left ear. She goes, what did you do? And I said, well, I just took that bone and we moved it back and pressure's off and your body's healing. And she starts breaking down in tears. Like, I've gone to 5 neurologists. My sciatica is gone. You haven't even touched my back. My other chiropractors were cranking on my hip. What'd you do? And I said, well, I taught you how to take care of yourself, and now your body's going to heal it. Now you need to stabilize this. Like literally bursting into tears in my office. We see it all the time. What I find fascinating is no other chiropractor she went to took this x-ray. And you know why? That is a very difficult adjustment to do by hand. Very difficult. Uses an instrument. It goes tap, 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 tap on the side of your neck. Okay? If you have an alignment issue and you fix it, power goes. And when the power goes, even a diseased organ can do what? It can repair itself. Now, if a dishwasher's broken and I throw the switch, can the dishwasher fix itself? No. Thank God you're not a dishwasher. But you are an amazing healing creation who is given the ability to heal by itself. I guarantee you it's just one of those 3. Simply one of those 3. If you fix it, your body gets well. So thus, your cure is to find the cause. You guys get this? Those 3 causes on the front, leaky gut, chemical stress, neurological, will be your cure. You just need to find out which one you have. So, in summary, again, consultation, exam, this is everything you guys get. It takes 3 days, and it takes a lot of work. Normally, $897 if you'd like to do it. It's slashed to $497. Can you guys take out the little sheet for me for a second, just so I can see this thing? To show you how to save some time, because the line is probably going to be a little long, what I'd like you to do is, I don't have one in here, but let me see yours for a second, and I'll get right back. Looks like this. So everybody find, if you've got a red folder, find this thing. So it says name, birth date, information, and you'll see Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. All we ask is that you do this. Circle the time frame you would really like to have. So if you're like, oh man, I want to do this, I'm going to do Monday at 5:30, and then put a star next to that. Then circle an alternate time in case Monday at 5:30 is not available, and say, well, I could also do Wednesday at 5:30, and take this sheet after you cross through the 897 and write 497, directly over to those 4 beautiful women over there who work with me. It is that easy. They're going to pull up our calendar, they're going to say yes or no, and guys, to be totally transparent, do you think I can pack everybody into Monday or Tuesday of this upcoming week? No. So just be willing to work with them in their schedule. But there is one question that everybody asks, which is this. Do I have to pay the $497 today? And I'm going to let you guys answer this for me.
Yes.
Yes, because the problem is I have a 3-week wait list as is, and I opened 15 slots for you guys to get direct access and to not have to wait for 3 weeks. So how I know you're committing yourself to that is you would put the deposit down for your appointment. So instead of paying for it when you come in, you pay for it here, and then we get you guys scheduled. Does that make sense to everybody? Great. So you get all these tests done. Now don't rustle around too much because I got a visual for you guys. Can we all just sit up straight for a second? Let's center ourselves, take a deep breath in. We are going to close in just a moment. And yes, we have all of our stuff. A lot of our patients come to buy things here because I put all my products on sale. So most of my patients are salivating. They're like, oh my God, the coffee's in. They're like, I'm ready. Okay, some of you don't know about this stuff yet. That's great. Red folders, I would highly suggest you go that way, though, because the line will fill up really quick. But I want to get you guys into a state before we leave. Because remember, we're committing ourselves for how many days? 90 days. And you're going to need to know, what do I do then? Okay? I promise you this. If you come up with an excuse as to why you shouldn't do this, you're going to instantly go towards failure. You know, I don't know how I want to do this because I have a vacation coming up in the next 2 weeks. He's asking for 90 days. That's going to be hard to do when I go on my trip. So I'm going to wait till my trip comes back. What are you telling me already? I don't really want to do this. Yes?
I have a question. Could you please comment on alcohol?
Alcohol is a sugar, so if you want to heal, it should be a 0.
0.
If you're healthy and you need to count your carbohydrates, we're supposed to have 40 grams max. So you need to find out your style of alcohol, how many grams of carbohydrates are in it, and don't go over 40 grams for the day. So if I'm going to have a glass of wine tonight, what do I usually do? I fast. I eat nothing, and then I have a glass of wine tonight. Does that make sense? No more than 40 grams of sugar per day. Fast. No food.
Oh, like for the whole day?
Whole day. We'll talk more about that later. But the idea being 40 grams max. But watch, right? If I come up with an excuse as to why I can't make these 90 days happen, that's instant failure, guys. If I come up and I say, my old habits are more popular, instant failure. You've got to come up with a plan and become responsible to have success. And what I'm suggesting that you do is go back to the analogy we talked about in the beginning. Be the driver. You guys remember we talked about that car versus that car. This person did what? Took care of themselves. This person did what? So here's my question as we close. Which kind of driver do you want to be? Do you want to be the person who has a hot body, a revved engine, and can get out and go when needed? Or do you want to be that person who just, man, I feel like I am falling apart? I cannot make that decision for you. And I know deep down inside, remember in the beginning, you said to me this, I want to feel better, I want to have high quality of life, I want quantity, I want to be there for my friends and family. That's this, guys. And you have the option of doing that. I would suggest you get tested, you get this stuff done if you haven't. And those of you who are patient, stay the course and keep doing what you're doing. Because you guys are knocking out of the park. It is all about the driver. And I hope today was a great refresher of our driver's ed and that you guys go out and have fun on the road of life. Does that make sense? And again, thank you guys so much for coming. So I have to be at my radio show soon, unfortunately, so I can hang here for about 10 minutes right up here. But I'm going to suggest that you guys go and you part seeds. Okay? The grass-fed company is out in the lobby. If you didn't get a chance to place your order, you can do that with them. And they have a freezer out in the parking lot. They will get it for you guys. And thank you so much for coming today. You guys have fun? Fantastic. Thanks so much.